If you're looking to finish 2023 as strong as possible, finish with a bang, then this video is for you. Welcome, my beautiful people. Fernando David here. On this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips that if you focus on these tips, I promise you that you will see an increase in your revenue. The first tip and the first thing you need to focus on is enhancing that guest experience. But here's where I think a lot of you are dropping the ball. That guest experience starts even before they book your property. It starts in the search process. How do you enhance a guest experience during the search process? By making sure that your listing has the following. Number 1, that you have instant booking on. That's going to allow a potential guest to book instantly. Number 2, that your listing is inviting and warm to the potential guest. How do you make that inviting and warm? By making sure that your listing is optimized and that your pictures are optimized. That's number 1. Number 2, once you get someone to click on your property, if they don't instantly book, oftentimes they're probably going to send you an inquiry. But here's what's important about inquiries. Most people or most guests will probably send multiple questions or inquiries to multiple hosts. The first host that responds and interacts with that guest oftentimes gets the booking or gets that conversion. So it's imperative, it's very important that you respond as quickly as possible. You should have systems in place that allow you to respond to a guest even if you're not available. So for example, we have the luxury of having virtual assistants that respond to our inquiries, but even when they're not available, our automatic message systems immediately responds when we get an inquiry. And that response basically says that thank you for your interest in our listing. Someone will get back to you shortly. At least you're already communicating with that guest. And that's going to increase your chances of converting that potential guest to a guest. Stay on top of that. Now, once that person books that property, the next thing that you need to do to enhance that guest experience is to make sure that your check-in process is easy to follow and allows that guest to check in smoothly. It may sound simple, but sometimes it's not as simple as you think. So for example, we take the guesswork out of this by writing clear instructions, but more importantly, by providing videos on how to get to the property. Once they get to the property, how to use an electronic lock, which is another way to enhance the guest experience. You shouldn't be using keys, or you shouldn't be requiring your guests, because I see this a lot, especially in Europe, is, go to the corner store or the corner bodega and to get the keys from someone and then go to the property. I know sometimes you can't get around that, but most of the time I think you could and you should have electronic locks so that you can have somebody who wants to check in when they want to. They can have that code and all they need to do is punch in that code to get in. Now, once they get into the property, the next major thing you should be doing is making sure that you provide some kind of welcome gift. It could be as simple as a thank you card. We like to provide wine or a bottle of wine for our guests, and now we're experimenting by creating our own labels for the bottle of wines. So this is an example of our labels. Basically, it says thank you for staying with us, and we're slapping that label onto the bottle of wine. Like I mentioned, you can go all out and provide welcome baskets. The point here is to provide something when that guest walks in, they immediately see it welcomes them to your property. Again, it could be as simple as a thank you card. It could be as simple as buying some flowers, etc. But do something to that effect. Next, I'm going to repeat a saying that I say a lot, and it's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have, right? You don't have to have an A+ property to provide A+ guest experience. What is important for an A+ experience, right? Number 1, the place that's super clean, immaculate, right? Make sure it is super, super clean. Number 2, make sure your place smells good. The scent should not be overpowering, but you should have some kind of nice scent. We have with PMI, there's a corporate scent that we really like. It's uniform, so when you go into one of our properties, that scent will sink in, and when you visit a second property, you're going to immediately recognize the scent and probably most likely remember of where that scent came from, right? A lot of stores do it, like Victoria's Secret, a lot of Macy's, a lot of these high-end stores. When you walk in, and high-end hotels, when you walk into the property, you can smell they have a specific scent because you want want to target your 5 senses, right? That's important. Make sure the core is nice. Make sure that everything's organized. That's going to enhance that guest experience. The last thing about the guest experience is going to be the checkout. Make sure that you're not providing this crazy laundry list of stuff for your guests to check out. Make it really simple for your guests to check out when they check out. You know, if you want to provide some kind of instructions, like for example, all we tell our guests is to make sure that the garbage is put out and that all the windows and doors are locked. That's it. All right, make it as simple as possible for them to check out. In addition, here's a couple of things in enhancing the guest experience that can actually make you some money. In our digital guidebook, we have what's referred to as upsell. In our upsells, we provide concierge service, early check-in, early checkouts. We provide car rentals, local bike shops, bike rentals, just providing additional services that even though the guest has to pay for, it makes it easy and gives the guest a better guest experience when they can go on your digital guidebook and see, okay, this is a local coffee shop that you recommend. I know back in the day, and some people still do use the guest book, but one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the guest book anymore is because most of you guys are not keeping that updated. Most of them look like crap. They're dirty. The sheets are wrinkled. Like I said, today's day and age, most people are on their phone, and by giving them in your digital guidebook, by giving them a specific location that they can click on and get directions to, makes it much easier than having something in a guest book. All right, enough on that guest experience. You get the idea. You want to enhance that guest experience. Number 2 is going to be by making sure that your listing is optimized. I kind of touched on that, but here's the 2 things that are very important about your listing. Make sure that your listing are the written aspect, your descriptions, etc. They're straight to the point. Try not to make them so lengthy and write like a novel. I know a lot of you guys are starting to use ChatGPT to create these listing descriptions. But trust me when I tell you, and take it from a person that travels a lot, I can care less about all that fluff crap, because I know when somebody says my bed is super comfortable, that's subjective, right? That's subjective to the person who's going to sleep on it. What's comfortable to you may not be comfortable to me. But what's important to me is I want to know what amenities you have, right? I want to know, do you have coffee? Do you have laundry, washer and dryer? Do you have high-speed Wi-Fi? Do you have a office desk? I want to know what you have. I don't want to spend a lot of time trying to read through these long descriptions to see what amenities you actually do have, right? Try to be clear and concise there. And then in reference to the photos, make sure that the photos are guest experience photos. And here's what I mean by that. Oftentimes people just take a picture of a room. No, make it an experience. So how do you make a photo an experience? By putting people in there, by adding, like for example, staging, like for example, I mentioned the wine glasses, right? We take a photo of our depending, it could be the living room, it could be the kitchen, it could be the dining room, where the 2 wine glasses are, the wine glasses with the bottle of wine, right? In the bathroom, you can do that in the bathroom, put 2 wine glasses, bottle of wine, maybe some fruit, and your tub or your jacuzzi tub filled with water, so that the guests can feel, okay, I can experience, I can see myself there, right? That's providing or creating photos that we refer to as guest experience photos, right? The last thing I want to talk about is creating some kind of special promotion and or having competitive prices. Let's talk about special promotion. And I'm going to give you an example of what we just recently did. Thanksgiving was just over, Black Friday was there, and Cyber Monday. So we did a Cyber Monday and Black Friday promotion through social media for our listings. Now, we have a lot of listings, so the link was just to our website. It wasn't to a specific property, but you can do this for specific properties. But we wanted some kind of promotion overall for all of our properties. It cost me $100 to do the promotion. Now, that $100 gave me, or gave us, the company, 17 reservations as a result of that promotion. And in terms of profits, now these numbers, I don't know them off the top of my head, but I just did a video, my weekend review video, in which I gave you the exact numbers of what the profits were, but they were somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000. If you want to know the exact number though, go to my weekend review video where I explained how much money we made that week and how much money we made during that specific promotion. But the point is, create some kind of promotion, some kind of advertising, something to attract more people to your property. But specifically, especially, I highly recommend that you have your own direct booking website, because that alone is going to give that guest a discount, especially if your pricing is the same across the board. So as you know, if somebody books on an OTA, the OTA is going to upcharge them some kind of service fee. But if they book directly through you, they're going to save that. So for example, with Airbnb, it's about 14% they're going to save if they book directly to us. Plus, I'm giving them an additional discount to that can be up to 25 to 50% off by booking just directly through you. Those are the special promotions. And then again, being competitive in terms of your pricing. This one's huge, people. Airbnb has been promoting, they've been talking about this. Brian Chesky in every release talks about being competitive with your pricing. You need to do a market study and make sure that your pricing is competitive. Cannot be the most expensive house in your area, because if you are, chances are you're not. I don't care if you have the best amenities in the world. I don't care if in your mind there is no other property that compares to yours. It doesn't matter, people. If you're the highest priced property, chances are you're not going to get booked because the economy is not the best right now and people are simply looking for bargains. Well, my beautiful people, if you want an additional tip, then you need to subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button. Follow me on Instagram. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.